The Galactic Empire gathers to formally extend patrol routes into Terran-adjacent space. They expect silence. Instead, they get something far older than diplomacy and far more final. High Marshal Vex stood before the Imperial cartograph table, claws tapping at blinking sectors. Route 7B intersects Terran fringe. No resistance expected. No response protocols logged. The chamber echoed with soft laughter. These weren't warriors gathered. They were land surveyors with delusions of grandeur. 17 admirals, 12 governors, not one had fought a war in living memory. Vex adjusted the projection. The humans haven't posted a claim on that quadrant since the fall of Centauri Prime. It's void space now. Their silence is our permission. Or our opportunity, someone said. Voice slick. They all nodded. It was easy to nod when you'd already convinced yourself Earth was irrelevant. One hand raised an old Tholian ambassador, draped in bone metal silk. Do we still acknowledge the Treaty of Soul? Vex gave a grin that showed too many teeth. No, as of this cycle, Earth is no longer considered a political entity. That sentence was recorded. Stamped. Signed. A new route lit green. Authorized. 6 patrol ships deployed. Within the hour. None returned. At first, they said it was solar interference. A gravity fault. A drift mine from the old wars. Then the emergency beacon lit up from the edge of Terran space. It didn't carry coordinates. It carried a message. You have entered Forbidden's territory. Terran silence ends here. Vex scoffed. Play it again. The technician hesitated. There's more. He tapped the GLYPH. The message shifted into visual. Black. No stars. Just the outline of something massive in the dark. No engine glow. No com ID. Then a flicker. A name burned across the hull in ancient Earth standard. Redemption class. UN's final warning. They hadn't seen a Redemption-class ship in 700 years. The last was decommissioned before the Concorde. Wars. This one wasn't decommissioned. It was awake. The chamber fell silent. One admiral whispered, "How long has it been sitting there?" No one answered. Because suddenly, everything made sense. The silence. The missing scouts. The unbroken border. Earth hadn't forgotten. Earth had drawn a line. And now? The Empire had stepped across it. The next transmission came without a signature. Just a calm voice filtered through the sound of wind on old Terran soil. The Empire is no longer welcome in Terran space. This is not a negotiation. Leave. Or be remembered for the wrong reason. Vex felt his mouth go dry. Then he made the last mistake of his career. Deploy a message fleet. Show of strength. 4 ships jumped in, broadcasting banners. Lights. 2 seconds later, the feeds cut. They were not destroyed. They were removed. The final sensor ping showed them, intact but drifting. Every weapon disassembled. Every engine dissolved. The ships were clean, like they had been politely returned to nature. No one could explain how, but everyone knew what it meant. This was not a standoff. It was a verdict, and that was before Earth even responded. The UNS final warning was not a warship in the way the Empire understood warships. It didn't gleam. It didn't pulse with energy signatures. It didn't need to be seen. It just existed, buried in black, wide as a small moon, floating in silence above the edge of Terran space. No ID beacon. No diplomatic channel. Just a presence. Inside, the bridge was darker than regulation. Lights were dimmed to save power, but truthfully, everyone here liked the dark. They'd grown up in it. Trained in it. Commandant Riker stood in the center of the deck. No chair. Just boots locked to the floor, arms behind his back. Status, he said quietly. A voice came from below the console. Pit. Ensign Mora, ex-colony tech, scar across her temple. Empire attempted fourth entry breach. 2 probes, 1 scout vessel, 1 manned diplomatic envoy. Riker didn't blink. All turned? Yes, sir. Manual sequence unnecessary. Auto-sentient. Grid handled it. No casualties? None, she said, with something like disappointment. He nodded. Good. The final warning didn't kill without cause. It wasn't built for revenge. It was built for memory. On the left screen, a feed displayed the Empire's border still twitching. Their remaining ships pacing like nervous dogs behind a transparent fence they didn't know had teeth. They're posturing, Mora said, trying to make us respond. We already did. But we haven't, Riker looked at her. We responded the day we built this ship. AVD spike. He walked forward, touching a control node built directly into the hull. The walls pulsed, a low hum. The ship wasn't entirely metal. It was part biotech, grafted with decades of Terran code and matter grown from lunar vaults. It felt like bone. This wasn't a ship you piloted. It was a ship you requested. Have they said anything new? Riker asked. Mora pulled up the audio. A clipped voice. Empire-class diplomat. Calm. Arrogant. We are still within legal authority. Terran jurisdiction is not recognized by current Galactic treaty. Riker didn't laugh. He just looked bored. They're still trying to play law with a hammer. Mora added, they're citing the 700-year silence clause. The one they wrote? Yes. He stepped forward, pressed a new panel. This one unlocked a file they weren't supposed to use unless things turned violent. Play back the declaration. Mora hesitated. Sir Earth never formally signed it. That's why it's better. She hit play. The voice wasn't Riker's. It was older. Female. Hard. The last Terran. Prime before the Council dissolved Earth's vote. The silence of Earth is not surrender. It is discipline. When we speak again, it will be to draw a line. That line is not for discussion. The audio cut. Mora leaned back. Still gives me chills. Riker nodded. It should. He tapped his earpiece. Patch me to the fleet. 6 ships stood hidden behind the final warning. Each one a relic and a prototype all at once. Some bore burn marks from forgotten wars. Others were new, matte-skinned. Almost silent on the scanners. None of them were labeled. They didn't need names. They had purpose. All units. Riker said, stand by for orbit lockdown. Passive grid only. No aggression unless confirmed violation. A chorus of acknowledgments followed. But then one ship pings. The OATHBREAKER. Old Terran cruiser. Its commander. Desamarn didn't waste words. New breach. 1 Empire ship. Just cross the outer cordon. Intent? Curious. Let it come. Mura looked up sharply. Sir? Riker's eyes were hard. Let them see. Moments later, the Imperial Scout crept into range. It was beautiful by Council standards. Chrome skin. Bright pulse drive. Comes flaring like peacock feathers. Useless. The moment it crossed the line. The final warning activated its silence field. Ship froze. Still functioning. Still aware. Just. Alone. Inside its bridge. The crew tried to move, tried to signal. Nothing worked. They weren't being jammed. They were being ignored by physics. Riker watched them on the screen. Let them sit in. It? For how long? Mora asked, until they remember what boundaries feel like. AVD spiked. 30 minutes later. The Empire vessel turned back. Not out of triumph, out of understanding. They had crossed a line. They didn't even see until they felt it close around them. Riker sat now. Finally. Hands folded. Eyes calm. We don't need to fire, he said. Mora nodded. They're going to spin this. Say it was diplomacy. Say we let them go. Riker gave a slow smile. They can say what they want. He pointed at the display. Because that line's still glowing. And that was before Earth even responded. Imperial Admiral Kale Darn sat aboard the Spire of Conviction, a battleship so polished it still smelled like new alloy. The bridge was flawless, symmetrical, white-lit, surrounded by officers bred for calm, logic, and cold loyalty. He was here to do what no one else would. Cross the line. Formally, visibly. "We're not waiting for another drone sweep," he said. Gloved hands folded behind his back. "We've wasted 6 cycles stalling. Earth has no claim here." His second officer, Velor, tapped into the live feed. "The Terran vessel final warning has not moved since our last encounter. No energy. Signatures. No overt threats. Then we test them." There was silence on the bridge. It wasn't fear. It was history. Because even after 7 centuries, the word Earth still carried weight it shouldn't have. Kale hated that. All systems green. Full shields. Tactical array live. "Prepare for incursion," he said. "Weapons primed?" Lore asked. Kale raised a brow. "You think they'll fire first?" "No," she said. "That's what terrifies me." AVD spike. The Spire of Conviction moved past the edge of the Terran exclusion zone, slow, deliberate, lights gleaming like challenge coins. From every system within range, civilian and military alike, ships turned their sensors to watch. No one interfered. They just observed. Like spectators at the edge of an ancient arena. One ship. One line. And one very big question: what would Earth do? The final warning did not move, but it reacted. The moment the Spire crossed the Terran border, every single ship in the Sol Relay Defense fleet appeared. Instantly. Not folded in, not detected warping. They were just dashed there. 57 ships. No pattern. No formation. Just presence. Massive, ancient, matte-skinned and ugly. The Spire's crew flinched. "What is that?" Lore whispered. Kale didn't answer. His eyes were locked on a ship directly ahead, barely 300 meters. Away now. It looked like a giant sword turned upside down. No lights. No engines glowing. Just stillness. It opened a channel. No request. Just voice. Terran.mail.older.calm. "You've crossed into Terran space. You are not welcome." Kale stepped forward. "This is Imperial jurisdiction. There is no standing claim on this region. Your treaties are outdated. Your silence is your absence." Another pause. Then, "Incorrect. Our silence is your mistake." "Are you threatening the Empire?" "No. We are correcting it." AVD spike. Kale made a choice. A bad one. The nearest vessel with a lock-only ping. "No fire. Let them feel us." "Sir, that may trigger." "Do it." The tactical officer obeyed. The moment the ping hit the Terran ship, everything changed. Not visually, but physically. The Spire's artificial gravity blinked, recalibrated, then dropped for half a second. Deck panels groaned. The ship's AI went silent. "Report," Kale snapped. "Gravity inversion spike. Mass field manipulation. Something just touched the laws of inertia, sir." "What does that mean?" "It means they didn't return the ping. They rewrote it." Another voice came over COMS. Same one, still calm. "Last warning." "Leave." Kale tried to reply. The comms refused. The input system displayed one word. No. He stepped back, face pale. "That's not protocol." Lore whispered. "It's not our protocol." Kale gritted his teeth. "Fine. Fire a single burst into the void. Wide angle. Non-lethal. Just push them back." "Sir, do IT." A flash. The Spire of Conviction released a spread blast of plasma across the field. Not aimed, not direct, but enough to rattle. It never landed. The instant it left the barrel, The void shimmered. Every single Terran ship went translucent, and the blast, it never hit them. It hit something else. The blast curved, folded inward, and then, in a flash of gray light, it collapsed. Not exploded. Collapsed. Like someone erased the laws of movement where it flew, and then the spire shut down. All at once. Lights. Weapons. Gravity. Power. Dead. Not dark. The front view screen came to life on its own. Woman appeared. Human. Terrn. Eyes steady. Hair streaked with silver. No uniform. No rank visible. She didn't smile. She didn't threaten. She just spoke. Earth is not silent. Earth is not passive. Earth is watching. She leaned forward. You've been warned. Once? Then the screen cut. Kale stood frozen. Behind him, Laura exhaled. What do we do? He didn't answer because he couldn't speak. The spire's command. Systems had locked him out. They were already reversing course. Manually? No. Externally? No. Something else was piloting them. Back across the line, where they belonged. The Terran. Fleet did not pursue. It simply faded again. Gone. Like the silence before thunder. By the time they reached safe space, power returned. No sign of interference remained. Everything looked normal. Except for one thing. All the ship's logs had been overwritten. By a single sentence. Do not return. And that was Earth. Just responding. The spire of conviction limped home with no visible damage. Yet not a single officer aboard dared pretend it had won anything. Admiral Kale didn't speak at the debrief. Not once. His log was blank. Because there was nothing he could say that would make what happened understandable. The Empire, of course, tried to spin it. Earth had made a mistake. The Terrans would be reprimanded. An investigation would follow. Terran space would be reviewed for reclassification, but none of it mattered. Because the footage was already out. A billion eyes across 100 systems had seen the moment the Empire's most polished vessel blinked and turned itself around. No blast. No war. No speech. Just presence. And one morning, the council convened. Debated. Postured. But inside every chamber, beneath every bluff, there was a quiet truth they couldn't kill. Earth had not rejoined the galaxy. Earth had drawn a boundary. And now, everyone knew where it was. Even the Vorn High Mind, who'd spent decades dismissing humanity as post-collapse fiction, canceled its planned scout wave toward Jupiter's shadow stations. Even the Telex Consortium, famous for probing contested voids, retracted all drones heading into Terran orbitals, because the message was no longer theoretical. It had been applied. Terran space was now a place again, but it wasn't defined by coordinates. It was defined by consequence. No new attacks followed. No new breaches attempted. For months. And then a final transmission was released from the UN's final warning. This time, it wasn't aimed at any one government. It was sent to the stars themselves. It wasn't angry. It wasn't loud. It didn't demand anything. It was simply policy. The silence of Earth is over. We will not expand. We will not interfere. But if you cross into Terran space again, a pause, you will not return. There was no signature. No official seal. Just an old Earth emblem. Cracked. Burned. Still standing. The kind of symbol that didn't ask to be feared. It simply was. On the deck of the final warning, Commandant Raker watched the signal bounce off the edge of Saturn's outer orbit. He didn't speak for a while. His crew moved without prompt. The ship hummed like it was breathing. When the last packet confirmed receipt by outer networks, he stepped down into the command well. Mora looked up. Response? None. He nodded once. Good. They're going to try again, she said. Of course, he said. Maybe not today. Maybe not this cycle. Doesn't matter, he said. Why? Riker stared at the stars. They'll remember what they felt. She paused. And what did they feel? His voice was steady. Limit. Aft Spike got back on Earth. No celebrations were held. There were no parades. No medals. Just a quiet pulse through buried command vaults, acknowledging the return of Terran jurisdiction. The planet didn't smile. It didn't rage. It just stood. A monument that had learned. A survivor that had warned. A force that didn't need permission anymore. Because the galaxy had finally heard it. Earth wasn't asking for respect. It was daring you to forget why it deserved it. And that was after Earth responded.